They call me the king of VSLs. That's because I generated 9 figures once and 8 figures multiple times for my clients following my 8-figure VSL formula. That's right, that's over $100 million in sales and over $10 million in sales multiple times respectively for my clients. And not just in one niche, in multiple different niches across multiple different offers at multiple different price points. High ticket, low ticket, bizopp, dating, consulting, crypto, you name it, I've done it all. As long as the offers that I write VSLs for get the required traffic, millions are essentially guaranteed. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what goes into my 8-figure VSL formula so that you can copy it and print 8 figures with your offers too. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is this only called the 8-figure VSL formula? Well, I'll tell you why. That's because the one time that I helped to generate 9 figures, I only consulted on the creation of this VSL. And this VSL was for the real world back in 2022, 2023, which is Tate's online money education platform, which did over $129 million in annual recurring revenue. But I did not script, plan, and direct the entire thing myself like I did on the other VSLs. I'm always going to be 100% honest with what I did and what I didn't do. But the VSLs that did generate in excess of 8 figures are multiple, and let me list a few out now. You have Champs Only VSL, which is doing mid-high 6 figures in monthly recurring revenue. That's 8 figures a year, purely with organic traffic. Our own offer here at Cloud Profit, which is on track to be doing 8 figures in the very first year since launching it, that's also purely with organic traffic. There's a dating offer, which I cannot name due to NDA, which is spending $3K per day on ads and getting a 9.8 ROAS consistently. You do the math on that, it's also 8 figures. I could go on and on. Unlike some people who have only written VSLs for their own offers, flywheel VSLs, and then claim to be VSL experts to help sell their 8-figure quantum business consulting. We've done it multiple different times across multiple different niches. And there are even case studies that I will be able to talk about at a later date. Clients that I can't even mention now. For example, one of our clients at ballpark 30 million in the last year with their offer, and they hired us to redesign the entire funnel, including the VSL, and it's already on track to crush the last year's results. So we'll be able to highlight those as case studies on our channel later, but I think my point here is pretty clear. I'm a thorough expert at scripting, planning, directing, and scaling these VSLs to 8 figures and beyond. Now, why would you want to create your own 8-figure VSL? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that this is the single most powerful sales asset you could ever create for your brand or business. One masterfully created VSL can take viewers from zero awareness to raving fans and paying customers. So it's worth it to master creating this sales asset because the returns on your investment for creating it could truly be unlimited in terms of revenue. So let's go into what actually goes into my 8-figure VSL formula now. So first thing is going to be the hook. Second thing, the lead. Thirdly, qualification. 4, problem question introduction. 5, hero story guru introduction. Number 6, solution introduction. Number 7, features and benefits. Number 8, testimonials and receipts. Number 9, price anchoring. Number 10, guarantee and risk reversal. Number 11, urgency story. Number 12, Crossroads Close. Number 13, takeaway close and qualify again. Number 14, help them to buy. Number 15, future pace. Now, this all seems simple enough, doesn't it, right? But that's easier said than done. In practice, to master all of these steps, all the variation of these steps, and rearrangements of the whole would mean that you're an expert VSL writer and have generated multiple 8 figures on your own. And it is simply not the case for 99.9% of you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this, right? So it's easier said than done. If you would like a direct one-on-one consulting on how you can implement a version of this formula for your own offer, go to cloudprofit.com where you can apply to join Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets, where it is among one of the things that we help you to do. Now, let's go into the steps of actually creating this 8-figure VSL. First of all, we have to do market research. Before we start anything, we need to understand our target audience. We need to know what has been proven to convert, not just reading Reddit, not just reading comment sections, interviews. We have to read the language of people who have already purchased, who have already been marketed to successfully instead. That's the key difference here of how to actually do market research. I'm gonna make another video on how to do market research and create your own scientific marketing plan using AI as well very soon. Now, what goes into the VSL itself, the very first element is going to be the hook. The whole purpose of the hook is to capture attention. And how you do this is you get the first line to make people read the second line or watch the second line. And then the second line gets them to watch and listen to the third line and so on. You have to imagine this like a slippery slope where somebody first tries to watch your video. They're not expecting to watch the whole thing, but they find themselves listening to the first line, the second line, the third line, the fourth line, and so on. And next thing they know, they've just watched the whole thing and they're ready to book a call or purchase your offer. That's the power of a powerful hook. So the hook itself sometimes is simply social proof and testimonials, but usually the hook follows the following framework. So what goes into a profitable hook? We've broken it down to a science. The first element is that it explains benefits. So this framework will double your sales calls, or this diet plan is going to make you 5 times more jacked or increase 5 kilos. That's very benefit driven. It's very simple. Second one is that it elaborates on differences. Our fitness plan is different because it focuses not on macros, it focuses on micronutrients, stuff that you might miss. Or our system for consulting is different because we don't just answer your questions, we go deeper into the psychology of things. Some sort of difference between you and the competition. This is number 2. Number 3 is it includes a what the fuck factor or curiosity. You gotta say things like, this Google Docs made me 200K and I didn't even have a website. Or we fired our sales team and made triple the revenue. We're like, whoa, what? Doesn't make any sense, right? So you're intrigued and you wanna listen to more. Number 4 is that it introduces a time constraint. There are only 2 hours left for this offer, or once we fill up capacity, then we're gonna close doors. Pretty simple to understand. Number 5 is it teases the story. Now, there's a very famous ad in classic direct response in mail print advertisement. It goes like this. When I sat down at the piano, they laughed at me, but then I started to play. I might have gotten a few words mixed up there, but that's basically how it goes. And then it goes into advertisement of how they were laughing at him, and then he started to play, and then people were shocked, they were amazed, and he goes into the whole story. That advertisement printed millions of dollars almost 100 years ago. And that was a time when we didn't have the internet. That was a time when we had to mail our money, wait 2 weeks again to finally get the product that we paid for over the mail. And during that whole time, that one advertisement had to carry all the selling weight to keep us happy, to keep us expecting and waiting that we were gonna get what we ordered, right? Now we can just, with the click of a button, get things, right? It's much easier, there's not as much selling required. So that's the power of teasing the story in your hook. Number 6 is lead with authority, pretty simple. This framework is used by Spotify, by NASA, by Apple. Mention big names, stuff that already has connotations of authority. Number 7 is magic, and when you know a hook is hot, you know a hook is hot. Like this is going to require experience. You cannot just, at the first time you're trying to write these hooks, know, okay, this is gonna hit. But after you've written thousands of them, and you've written dozens of them successfully, who've made loads of money, then you're gonna have a good reference experience. Okay, that hook's hot. That one's gonna hit. And with very certain accuracy, you're gonna know that it's true. Now we have the framework for what goes into a profitable hook, but how do we strengthen each individual one? There are some elements that we can follow. So number 1 is include an example to demonstrate the claim. So Sarah made an extra 30K per month following our system, for example. That's a clear example that people can understand. You can use modalities to amplify the senses. Now, what are the modalities? The modalities are your hearing, they are your smell, they are your sight, they are your touch, they are your taste. They are the ways that we perceive the world, the 5 senses. So how to use them inside of a hook to strengthen it, you say things like, you will feel the sensation of warmth once you put on this hoodie. You will hear the Stripe notifications as they hit your bank account. Like these things are describing them in the way that somebody would best understand them based on what their primary modalities are. Usually it's sight, you'll see things, or you'll hear things, or you'll feel things, touch, right? Describe things with the modalities, makes things stronger. You can state the claim as a paradox. You can say things like, we stopped looking for leads and ironically we got more leads. This is how. Right? It's a paradox, it doesn't make any sense. We worked less and we made more money. How? Right? A paradox is a contradictory statement that has a figment of truth to it. And when you say these things and people don't understand how these things actually work, they're gonna be like, okay, what is this? Let me find out more. You can frame the claim as a question. You just simply take whatever hook you have and you can be like, can you imagine a system that takes you from 0 to 30K per month using this framework as quickly as possible? Can you imagine this, right? Or do you think that it is possible to make, I don't know, to change your fitness levels from 0 to plus 20 kilos of muscle inside of 2 days? Do you think it's possible? Well, maybe, yes, you know? Now it's a question, now you're asking people stuff. It's also a powerful way to change things up. Number 5 is include newness, authority, and exclusivity. Newness in terms of the all new Apple iPhone 17. Is it actually better than the iPhone 15 or 16? Maybe, maybe not, but it's new. New sells. Authority, is going to be obviously, former head of sales and marketing at Cooperative for over 2 years. Boom, authority just like that. You're gonna make your own as well. Exclusivity, it's one of a kind. There are only 100 limited spots in order to get this product that you can have. It's exclusive, not everybody can have it. There are only certain amount of pieces in the launch of this drips. There are limited articles of clothing that you can buy. So that's exclusivity. Number 6 is gonna be metaphors, similes, and parallel examples. You can say things like, this is like ChatGPT, but for your sales funnel, right? Or you can say things like, think about how the Airbnb industry disrupted the hotel industry. This is the same thing analogous for X industry, for example, right? They're analogies, they're similes, parallel examples that people can understand already. They can draw a reference to that. Number 7 is give the problem or claim a name. Now, there's a very good example that I like to give about this of my friend who runs a consulting business who does over $500,000 a month, clean. And what he did was he stopped calling his business consulting and he started to call it unscalable consulting. Now, what does this do? He gave the claim of obviously making people money with consulting, he gave it a new name and he called it unscalable consulting. Even me as a marketer, when I first saw the ad and I went to the landing page in the VSL, I was like, whoa, what is this? I'm very intrigued. Let me find out more. So you can imagine the effect it had on people with an even lower level of market sophistication, right? So that's the power of giving the problem or claim a name. It allows you to differentiate yourself from the rest of the people running similar businesses in a similar niche. Number 8 is going to be address the people who can and can't buy the product. This one's very simple. If you're not making at least 10K per month, if you don't have at least X or Y available, then this is not for you, right? Very, very simple. Number 9 is going to be to show how easy the claim is and remove limitations. You don't need a cell phone connection. You don't need a laptop. You don't need anything. All you need is yourself, a pen and a paper, and you can get this done. Like remove the limitations, show them how easy it is, simple to understand. Number 10 is dramatize the claim and the problem. And this is simply just adding a bit of drama, adding a bit of suspense. Number 10 is dramatize the claim and the problem. And this one's very simple. Simply make it slightly more dramatic, right? You are losing so much money with this funnel. When you change your advertising strategy, you are gonna stop losing $5,000 per month with this advertising strategy. Something like that, right? It's more dramatic now, more dramatic language. That's all it really is. Number 11 is going to be use ChatGPT. Now, for every hook that you create, every headline that you create, you can literally put into ChatGPT and tell it, hey, give me 5 more similar variations in a similar tone and a similar style. And ChatGPT is gonna give you 5 new very good headlines. And some of them might be even better than the one you came up with yourself. So you take that, take the good ones, keep them, you can put it back into ChatGPT and create 5 more of a similar vein. And with AI is an amazing tool, you can get closer and closer to what a perfect hook or headline will be for your offer. This is the hooks. Now, the next thing that goes into a VSL is the lead. Now, the lead builds mystery and intrigue. It further elaborates on the audience's problem or question you introduce. And what I mean by problem or question introduce is their pain points that you're addressing in your headline, in your hook, that's their problem. The question is simply because you state that there's going to be a benefit and they're going to ask you, well, how is that possible? That's the question that they're asking. So it's a problem or a question. Next thing you do is it further teases the unique mechanism of the solution or the benefit, as I explained. It establishes authority in the form of proof that the method of your solution works. Either you've done this before and you show that, or you quickly show that others have done it before as well. But you need that quick authority right at the start for people to be like, okay, yeah, this person is going to be the person that's going to solve my problems. Note, this does not mean that your audience care who you are yet. That's going to come in a later section. So don't go ranting on, yeah, I did this is my story. Nobody cares at this point, right? Keep it short, keep it concise. Finally, you need to invite the audience to keep watching to learn the answer to their problems. And this is the payoff for watching all the way through. Next section is going to be the qualification. Now, I must give credit to my billionaire mentor for the placement of this step. Up until recently, I didn't have this section in my VSL formula, but now I did, and conversions have increased massively because of this. So essentially why we put the qualification here is because since you've already built up mystery, intrigue, and established some authority in your solution, people are hooked, and now you've got to lock them in. So what you do is you describe who the solution is for and who it is not for. What this does is it gets them to say, yes, this is for me in their minds. Note, even as you disqualified them, you don't really disqualify them because every single disqualification has a silver lining where the audience comes to the conclusion that, well, I'm obviously not that, so the solution is for me. So an example of how you do this is, we do not take any lazy or dumb people in this program. This will not work for them. obviously nobody wants to call it lazy and dumb. So they're gonna be like, yeah, no, that's not me. So then this is for me. You see how you disqualified them, but it's not really disqualification? So that's the power of this. Next section is going to be the problem and question introduction. So start explaining the problem the audience has and identify it in language that they're going to resonate with. And start answering the question as well. That's part of the payoff of the lead. How did we do X? And you can weave both in together at the same time, and you can make a good story with this. The next section is going to be the hero story and the guru introduction. Now, this is where you tell the emotional story of the struggle to find the solution to the problem. Now, how long this section is going to be dependent on how emotional your target audience is. If it's a lower market sophistication, lower ticket audience, they're going to be more open to being persuaded emotionally. So this hero story is going to be more longer. But for a higher ticket clientele who doesn't care as much about being persuaded emotionally, they're not going to care about your story as much. They want to just know the relevant details, so you don't have to go on and on and on and go through entire hero story in depth. But this section is still necessary. Here you can introduce the guru and explain how he was going through the problem. Ultimately, you want the story to build to a crescendo where it looked like he tried everything, nothing worked, all hope was lost, and there would be no way to improve the situation. But alas, a silver lining, a new method which promises a breakthrough, a solution at last, right? And you have here a picture of the hero's journey, the start, the call to adventure, death and rebirth, gets the gift, and then he returns changed person. That's the hero story. That's what almost every story in humanity is based on. People love to hear stories. This is why this element is so important in the VSL. Next section you have is the actual solution introduction. They've gone through the hero's journey. Now they have a solution. Well, how does it work? Here's where you explain. You introduce the solution and you explain the mechanism behind why and how it works. Now, the solution can be the product itself, especially if the product was developed to solve the problem, or it can simply be explaining the solution. But regardless, if you are introducing the product very early in the solution introduction, or you're just talking about the solution itself, at the end of the solution introduction, you have to be like, and we package this all together in, and then state the name of your offer. And we put this all together inside of Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets. Then you go into the features and benefits. People are going to be asking, okay, what's included? You have a breakdown of the features of the products in details, and you can attach benefits to the features, and you should do that, and you should use hook principles to create these fascinations. Say things like, this 8-week transformation program takes you from A to Z, everything you need to know in order to scale your brand or business to 8 figures and beyond. Right? Structure it like this, it makes it better. Number 8 is going to be testimonials and receipts. Now it's time to spam these. Insert the best testimonials about your product or service, written and in video. Both of them have very good energy. You should not discard it just because it's written that it's not going to be as powerful. Testimonials are the only thing that you cannot fake in marketing because there's energy behind them. So include them if they're powerful. Show receipts of your wins, and if you can format them as mini stories, it's even better. So for example, first I had a problem, I tried everything, but I couldn't solve it. I found X and finally got a solution. Now I'm very happy making this testimonial. You see how it's a story? You know, it's a mini hero's journey inside of the testimonial. It makes it more powerful. Number 9 is going to be price anchoring. Now, you got to ask them how much they think something like this would cost. Now, note that this is not value stacking. As much as I respect Russell Brunson and all the things that he's done for the industry, it's completely disingenuous to tell people that, hey, this costs X, that costs Y, but I'm only going to give it to you for Z price. Like, please give me a break. It's much better to ask them, okay, how much do you think this is going to cost? Get them to sell to themselves. Get them to come to that conclusion themselves rather than you telling them. It's more powerful. You can use analogies and examples to increase the perceived value and get them to convince themselves. To compare the cost of not taking your solution. For example, how you do this is on a crypto offer, explain how much most people lost to the crypto markets on average versus when they actually try to learn it with an experienced mentor, such as yourself, right? You can juxtapose the two things. Those are the analogies and examples that you can do. And then finally, go for the close and state your price. Now, I'm gonna get a lot of pushback on this when I say that you should usually always state your price, but it's dependent on a few factors. First of all, if it's a low ticket offer, you should always state your price because the low price is in and of itself a selling point. It's gonna help you to sell. If you're selling higher ticket and you have no problem with qualified leads, your closers are getting very good people on the phone, then you shouldn't state your price because it doesn't help you. The price in this case is going to act as a filtering mechanism. If you're finding you're getting a lot of unqualified leads and your closers are wasting time or you're wasting time on the phone, then introduce the price because that's going to filter out the people who would be off put by the price and filter for the people who would be willing to pay the price. However, if you introducing the price then reduces the volume of the leads so much so that it hurts your profits because the actual benefit you get from getting higher qualified leads is not proportional to the amount of lead volume that you've just lost, then what you need to do is you need to improve the offer, improve the VSL, improve your marketing in general. Otherwise, you should also lower your price, because that means there's a mismatch between what your market is prepared to pay for your offer. Now, there are also other cases where raising your price even more will make you more money, because that's going to make you perceived as a higher quality and premium product with higher value and higher paying clientele. And ultimately, you can even make more money that way too. So it all depends on your specific offering. Next, we have the guarantee and the risk reversal. If you have an amazing guarantee or risk reversal in your offer, include it here. And the better your guarantee, the more conversions you will have. This is an irrefutable fact. Now, this doesn't mean that you should just go crazy on the guarantee and guarantee anything. You should look at the fulfillment structures of your offer itself, and you should understand, okay, what guarantee can I realistically give given the realistic expectations of results that people can have with my offer, right? And then you can make the guarantee based on that. We need to make it as easy as possible for somebody to buy from me. That's the whole point of the guarantee and the risk reversal. Next, we have the urgency story. If you have a believable reason for why this offer won't last forever, you should include it here. So, for example, limited spots. You'll probably have to prove it somehow. People are skeptical. Market conditions, and this is probably your strongest urgency factor, if it properly fits. Stuff such as the economy is collapsing, or the market is going to catch up to this method of making money and it's going to become saturated and the opportunity is going to go away. These are believable reasons, but you need to have your own. Next one is price increase, and you're going to have to justify this as well. Usually it's going to be stock limitations, fulfillment limitations, but you should say this as a story though. You cannot just say things, stock limitations. You should be like, hey, X had X success on this program, Y had Y success on this program, and we've had so many people join the program recently, get so many results, so many wins that we've been overwhelmed with people, and we've simply reached capacity as to how many people we can help. So that's why we're gonna limit spots or raise price or do something in order to make this more urgent for you to join. That's the whole point of this. Next, we have the Crossroads Close. Now, this is a very classic and extremely effective close. So how this works is that first, you outline the nightmare scenario of not taking action to buy your product or service. You outline the scenario where they do nothing. Next, you outline the scenario where you take action and solve all of your problems and make all of your life's most magical dreams come true. Of course, you're not going to say this to them explicitly, right? But you're going to describe the scenario in their ideal language, the way that they're thinking about it. So it's going to resonate with them very deeply. Then use a burden of proof question to ask them which scenario they want to happen to them. And examples of this are, so what's it going to be? What are you going to choose? Make them answer. That's the whole point of this. Next, we have the takeaway close. Now it's time to slightly take away the opportunity for them. Think like a carrot on a stick. Slightly take it away from them so that they want it more, and then give it back to them finally once they really, really want it. So how you do this is simple. You list who this is not for and describe the kind of person who will not be successful with this product or service, and then you qualify them again. It's not for everyone, but if you are X, Y, and Z, stuff that they are, then this is for you. You give them back the carrot, and then they're happy. Next, you can help them to buy. And this is very important, and you should assume the sale, because if your product is amazing, then it's basically obvious that they need what you have to offer, right? So state the price and then show them again how they can pay and show them how they can buy. Use visuals, guide them through the process, make tutorials, make it super, super easy for them, remove all friction so that have nothing to do but be like, okay, makes perfect sense for me, how I can buy, right? Screen record, make a presentation, whatever you have to do. Next, and finally, we're gonna do the future pace. So what the future pace is that we show them now what will happen once they buy. Not if they buy, once they buy. Remember, preemptive language, sales lesson. Show them what happens once they onboard and how they can access their materials or product. Tease the benefits coming their way and tell them that it's literally within their grasp. All they have to do is make the leap of faith. It's that easy. It's right there, you can grab it. It's just out of your grasp. That's the feeling that you have to create. Now, describe the person that they're going to become, and how aggressive you do this will depend on their offer. If they're a more emotional target audience, you can go pretty hard on this. You can elaborate on the grand dreams and visions that they've had and how they can finally achieve it. If they are more skeptical consumers, then you're gonna have to err a bit more on the side of caution. You're gonna have to have a bit more finesse when you do this. But regardless, you have to show them some sort of dream. You have to future pace it, right? And then go for the close again. And if they're a lower ticket clientele, lower market sophistication, you can slap a timer on there. It's also very effective. Time's running out. Now, another element that people forget is planning shots. Nobody really thinks about this. They just think, oh, I have a perfect VSL, I have the script, I can film in random locations. No, you can't. You have to film them in specific locations, depending on the feeling you want to create, right? So the hook, for example, does not need to only hook them in with copywriting, it must hook them in also with visuals. Where are you filming? Is it in Dubai? Is it at your desk? Is it on a yacht? Where is it? It depends on the feeling and your target audience that you need to address, right? The Crossroads Close and urgency story need to be more intimate. Get closer to the camera, lower your voice a little bit, put on a sincere look on your face, and actually truly believe in your heart of hearts that what you're offering, your target audience needs now and not later. You see, it's very important, the feeling that you create in every part of your VSL. People massively overlook this, but it makes such a huge effect, I promise you. Next is how to improve your VSL. Now, you've created your VSL, it's edited, it's live. Now we are collecting data. So we always recommend hosting on Vitalytics to collect the best data on watch time, drop-off rates, so that you can adjust certain parts of your VSL to improve metrics. And you should follow our framework for best practices for video player conversions that we share exclusively inside of Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets when you do join. But other than this, there is one more way to get accurate feedback on how engaging your VSL is to your target audience. And I have to credit my billionaire mentor again for this one, but I call it the normie feedback experiment. So essentially how this works is that you get normies, you round them up, and they can't be people who know marketing. This has to be normies because normies don't know marketing, so they don't know exactly what's hitting them. And you give them your VSL, you sit them down and you have them watch it, and you observe them from afar. And as you observe them, you watch how they're reacting. Every time they pick up a pen, every time they laugh, every time they look away, every time they scratch a nose, and you write this down. And you do this with as many normies as you need to get an accurate sample size. But this gives you data that Vitalytics can never give you. This is accurate real-time feedback on how your VSL is making people feel. When people are losing engagement, when they're dropping off. Super key experiment that you can do here and get very accurate data. And using this, you can keep iterating and refining your VSL until it's 100% perfect. And when it's 100% perfect, you have a perfect sales asset, which will print millions of dollars for you for years to come. Now, here's what I cannot share with you in this video. I've just explained to you my entire 8-figure VSL formula, how to create emotions, how to plan the shots, how to collect data, and how to improve your VSL based on that data. But what I cannot share with you is specific breakdowns of VSLs, because I have to withhold some aspects of my thought process exclusive to my Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets clients. I also cannot go through the endless variations of this VSL formula specific to your offer, because again, that's going to require my time and effort, which I reserve exclusively for my Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets clients. So you get the point here. If you want more personalized access to my brain, you can go ahead, click the first link in the description, go to cloudprofit.com and apply to join Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets. When you apply, if you are qualified, you and I, or one of my closers, will call with you and we'll give you a personalized roadmap on exactly what you need to do to improve your branded business. You'll get a personalized audit of your VSL if you bring it to me, and we're gonna give you a roadmap on exactly what you need to do to reach the next level in your branded business. This call is only a win for you. My entire goal with this call is to leave you 10 times better than we found you. So it costs you nothing if you're qualified, and it's only a win for you. So go ahead, click the first link in the description, cloudprofit.com, apply to join Cloud Profit Scaling Secrets today, and hopefully you and I will be talking very soon.